to Finding Calm in the Chaos. I am Denise Sith, and this is my podcast. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. You're listening to Finding Calm in the Chaos. I am Denise, and I'm totally hoarse right now. I'm just letting you know, because I've been recording podcasts, I've been working on some other stuff, and it's been a lot of talking, and the tea isn't cutting it anymore. So today we are talking about, it's 2024. We're in April. We're in mid-April at this point, right? So let's talk about goals, because we all have them. We should all have them, but they also should be like attainable goals. Like don't tell me you want to be a trillionaire and then you have like no plan. Just saying. But I've really been focusing on, and it's all part of this financial decluttering and plans and planning and all of this stuff, and just kind of getting everything order in my house, spiritually, financially, like in my marriage, communication. I'm pulling it all together this year. We're not playing around, but it doesn't matter. Like, we all have some kind of goal, working towards achieving those goals, right? They help give us like meaning, right? Why we're living life. They motivate us to be the best version of us. But that said, you can't just achieve goals by wanting them really bad. You can't visualize them. Yep, you just heard me say it. I said it out loud. A lot of people, okay, I really understand and live by visualization. I love to visualize. I'm not a big meditator because I just can't focus like that. But I can throw me out a visi with no problem. To me, it's just like honed in daydreaming. You know, it is. So I really like that. I do think that it helps change your mindset, especially if you're having a bad day, you're kind of cranky, things are going a little hectic. It is life. I think sometimes if you just sit down and close your eyes and envision something, you can literally change the chemistry in your body. So you have to have a strategy. Okay. You can't just will them to happen. Work needs to be involved to meet a goal. Okay. And if you don't have a strategy in place, you're probably going to fail to achieve that goal. Okay. Even if it's small, or you think at a glance that it's like easily attainable, but it's probably not if you're just sitting around hoping it'll happen, So what are these like best strategies? I don't know what happened. I talk like I had braces for a moment. What are the best strategies for achieving goals, right? And how does that work? Like, how can you do that? We're going to dive into that a little bit today. So, there are one of the things that obviously you may or may not know this. Okay. But in 1981, Duran, Miller, and Cunningham came up with this acronym called SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Basically, it's an acronym that stands for 5 criteria that were aimed to kind of set strong attainable goals, right? And achieve them within a reasonable time frame, right? It measures the results of a goal. So SMART is, what is the name of the book? It's like Smart Way to Write Management Goals or Meet Objectives or something like that. But it's Duran, Miller, and Cunningham. Book's 1981, but it's a really good one. So they probably intended the guidelines for business settings, but you can actually follow the SMART acronym to set achievement goals in any area, personal, financial, it doesn't matter. So SMART stands for goals that are obviously specific, because you want the goals to be as specific as possible. You're supposed to use the who, what, when, where, and why to describe a specific. And then they're measurable, right? You have to define indicators to help you measure your success or your failure. Maybe it didn't work out, right? And then attainable, right? We talked about that. You got to make sure that the goals are practical, that they're realistic. Okay. You really need to just make sure that it's realistic. Relevant. You don't want your goals to just be like out there. Okay. You want your goals to be in line with your personality and your values. Or basically, you're going to wake up one day and figure out you've been working towards the wrong goal. Been there, done that. Okay. And then the last one is time bound. You got to set a timetable for achieving the goal in order to stop postponing it indefinitely. You know, oh, I don't have this to do that. Oh, I don't have that to do that. Or my favorite, because of ADHD and OCD, we're going to talk about that on Coffee Talk, my ADHD. So it went away. I had something and I went, oh, we were talking. Wow, Denise. What I am really good at doing is that I will over organize something and spend so much time setting it up and organizing. I never just do the dang thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like too much. So set up SMART guidelines: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Okay. Number 2, create an action plan. Because if you don't have an abide and like stick with it, right? An action plan, you got nothing, because it's essential if you want to achieve the actual goal. So, I mean, without an action plan, you're pretty much going to postpone everything. You have to have an action plan. You are going to get distracted. For me, like writer's block, writing time, drawing time, postponing. You need a detailed action plan that outlines exactly what you need to do. And obviously you could do this with business, but here's the thing. It has to involve numbers if it's business. I'm not going to say the industry that ignores this topic, but you must crunch the numbers if it's a business, because it might not make sense. If you have more going out than you have coming in, it's not a good business. Leaving it at that. Basically, once you have this detailed action plan, it will outline exactly what you need to do. It'll be easier to follow through with the goal. Okay. Your brain's not going to be overwhelmed by the effort it takes to do all this stuff, because you have a concrete plan in action that you're going to follow every day in, day out. You got this, right? So you're going to define the goal using the SMART method, right? You're going to list all the steps you need to follow. You're going to prioritize your tasks, right? Add your deadlines for each task. You're going to set milestones. You're going to identify any necessary resources that you need. Like, what's it going to take you to achieve the goal? You know, time, money, connections, skills, references. What resources do you possess? Is any of that an obstacle? Because if there's an obstacle, then you might want to reassess, right? The goal. Monitor, evaluate, update. Once you start actually working on the action plan, you may notice that like you're off, right? Milestones, resources, right? Something like that. You don't worry about that, right? No one can predict the future, but just know that if it happens, you just have to readjust your plans accordingly. It just works as simple as that. So there's that. Action plan. Number 3, breaking bad habits. Okay. So this is me pulling all-nighters when I need to do deep work and I end up looking like a zombie. Okay. The next day. Right. If you're like into partying still, because I don't know, there are young people who listen to this or people who are still into partying. I'm not, but you might be, and that's okay. That's you. But if your partying life or any other things are getting in the habit, I call it recreational stuff. If your recreational stuff is taking over the time that you would normally put in plan to do an action plan based on a goal that you want to achieve, but you can't understand why you can't achieve this goal, but you're still Netflix and binging and going out partying and hitting up the clubs, and you got time to play, 8 hours of PS2 all night or Xbox or whatever, pick your gaming console of choice, then you probably need to break that bad habit, right? Multitasking is kind of like regarded as a superpower. And as someone who is like heavily a multitasker, it's not really a superpower. I'm just letting you know. Just so you know, it's not. Because, and know that no matter what your bad habits are, it's important to work hard on fighting them if you want to achieve your goals. Because a habit is a habit, whether it's bad or good. You just need to identify the bad habit and then replace it with a good habit. I'm sorry, I don't know if anybody heard that update on my computer, but there it is. I don't care anymore. Buster's like having a hissy fit over here. My alarms are going off. It's like, whatever. I'm just talking. We're talking about goals today, dang it. But just become aware of your bad habits. And if you write them down, it will help so that you know what to concentrate on. Visualize yourself overcoming the tempting situations. Replace the bad ones with healthy ones. Identify your triggers and ask friends for help if you can. Like, I really will tell my friends always to hold myself accountable. And I tell you guys too, that I will just state what I'm doing so that I'm either going to be on it. At least I'm holding myself accountable. Somebody's going to help it out, right? But please know that, breaking bad habits is easier said than done. Most bad habits we've had for a very long time. So it's not going to take like overnight to figure it. You're not going to be like, you know what, Denise, you spent a lot of time talking about, doing 900 different projects when you could just like drop the other, 899 that are not necessary at this particular moment and get the one done you need to be, period. Just talk yourself in. Just talk it out. Number 4, work on your self-discipline. This self-discipline is what makes the difference between an achiever and a dreamer. You can talk about it, write about it, read about it, dream about it. But if you're not doing anything about it, it's nothing. Think about that. Einstein said genius is 1% talent and 99% hard work. Ain't nobody going to disagree with that. Let's be honest. No one is going to disagree with that because it takes self-discipline to actually sit down and put in the hard work, especially in a busy life like we have today, a busy world, right? Most people just want to enjoy the benefits hard work brings, but they get disappointed when they can't achieve their goals, but they're not putting anything into it. So for a self-disciplined person, nothing seems important, right? For someone who doesn't have discipline or lacks it, right? They're not, as self-disciplined as like someone else. It's even the easiest and like most mundane thing can seem super difficult and a waste of time to some people. They may have big goals, but they actually lack the oomph to sit down and work for them. And you can improve your self-discipline, but you have to, incorporate healthy habits in your life every day. One of the ones I do is I wake up and I start my day early. So I don't go to bed till about midnight, 1:00. It's just my routine. I'm trying to do 11 to midnight now because I figure an hour at a time, little by little, I'll create some structure and my body will get used to it. But I do get up about 6:30, regardless of what time I went to bed. So waking up and starting your day early, I don't sit in bed and be like, I didn't go to bed till late, so I'm going to stay up. I'm going to just stay here and lay for another half an hour. Nope. I just get up. I set my bed. I do what I got to do, my devotionals or whatnot in the morning. I get ready. I come downstairs. I open up the house. I feed the dogs. I get Pete ready. Like we start homeschooling. I'm just at it, right? Eating healthy and exercising regularly. This is mine. Now I got the eating healthy. Down. But I need to exercise regularly. I make so many excuses about not having time. Or when I have time, welcome to autoimmune world, I usually feel like poop or my ankles are too swollen to fit into my Peloton shoes, so I can't ride the bike that day, or my back hurts, or I can't close my hands, so I have to do like my arm exercises without the weights, but I really wanted to do the weights. So then I'll go, well, why am I doing it then? If I'm not doing the weights, I'll just skip it till I can close my hand. Like it's just, That is my vice. That one right there is my big issue. Sleep routine, we talked about that. I'm really like structuring myself. Now, also, it could be just the opposite. A lot of people don't need 8 hours of sleep. I do not. I have functioned on 2 hours of sleep a night. I don't know how healthy that is for everybody, but I also know that if you're sleeping 9 to 10 hours a night, you probably don't need that. That is just the opposite problem, right? And work a set number of hours daily. Don't just sit around. I used to do this when I was in that certain industry I'm not going to talk about, where you work all day and talk about how you're working all day, but you're working from home and you can't even not take a picture without everything involves work. It's like, I'm on vacation. Look, I'm working. No, that's BS. Work a set number of hours daily. I spend 40 minutes is my limit on social media right now. I got to get all my work done then. I know that on my calendar, I record podcasts between this such and such time on these days. And that's when I record. I don't go over it. And if I go under it, sweet. Bonus time to do something else, some personal reading or something. So we're going to take a quick break. We got more we have to go to. We got 12 of these and we're only on 5 going into 5. So quick break for an endorsement and we'll be right back. Hey friends, I want to talk to you a little today about our sponsor, which is Pet Matrix. Pet Matrix is a premium canine supplement company, and I chose this company straight off the bat for Buster and Chica. Chica is a 15-year-old Shiba Inu, and Buster is a growing large breed Newfoundland, currently at 17 months. Every ingredient that Pet Matrix chooses has a targeted benefit for your dog. Their supplements deliver natural active ingredients through a revolutionary process that they call cell matrix delivery. By applying science and including bioactive peptides in their human-grade all-natural recipes, they're able to target a dog's specific needs, plus provide the benefit nature intended. Now, I use the Think for Chica and Buster. It is a cognitive and neural support supplement. I use the Protect for Buster as well, and that is an immune and gut support. And then I also use the Move for both of them, Chica being older and Buster with growing large bones, an anti-inflammatory and mobility support supplement. If you want to check out Pet Matrix, you can check them out at petmatrix.com. That's PETMATRX.com. And you can use Buster Sith at promo for 20% off. Again, that's Buster, BUSTER, Sith, SITH, no spaces, and get 20% off your order. Yeah, I'm back. I sniffed coming in. There you go. I have the worst allergies this year, people, and it is just frightening. And it's just nuts. And between like rain and snow, because I'm in the Midwest, it's insane. We have a snowstorm, then it's like 70 degrees out. Then it's really nice. It rains and it's like 50, and then we have a snowstorm. It's insane. Welcome to the Midwest. So we are working on number 5. Ways to help create strategies for goals in your life. Okay. Number 5 is eliminate distractions. Because let's be honest, this is arguably the number 1 enemy of productivity and progress, right? The world is filled with distractions, man. Social media, emails, kids, husbands, pets. It's everything. Okay. But if you're constantly being distracted from the work you need to achieve your goals, you're always going to get derailed, okay? You're going to get nothing done, right? TV's in the background, coworkers, notifications on your phones. I don't get anything. My phone isn't even on ring anymore. It doesn't do anything. Unless I'm specifically waiting for something to come in, My ringer is never on anymore. Like if I answer the phone, if you call me, it's because I happen to be looking over at my phone or I saw it light up and I saw the drop down that a phone was coming in, a call. But other than that, I don't touch it. Okay. These are how you can eliminate some of those distractions. Okay. When you're working on goals, silence the damn phones. Okay. If they aren't related to what you're working on at that moment on hand, silence it. Okay. Headphones, because they avoid like background noise. I always record. I don't have to with my headphones, but I do because it takes out everything in the background and makes me feel a little more structured. If you're not obviously recording a podcast or you're just working on a project, white noise, nature sounds, something relaxing. Remove yourself completely. Go to a co-working space, the library. When you're in a place that's structured, especially the library, right? You're focused on getting the work done because you're in the zone, right? You're getting it done because everybody else is getting it done. And you can't chit chat and you can't have loud noises. Boom. Leverage productivity apps. Okay, so there's Todoist is a great app, okay? I don't like the apps. I use my calendar and I have like my notes. I'm old school. But Chrome extensions has Stay Focused that restricts like sites on your laptop. So literally you can't open certain stuff while you're working on your laptop. I mean, if you're that distracted, you probably want that. Number 6, leverage your daily and monthly targets. Okay, I know this sounds kind of weird, but chances are some of your goals are probably going to be long-term. Okay. Owning your own business, buying a house. It could be anything. Okay. For me, the books, right? That's long-term. Those big goals, the long goals, those can be really overwhelming. Like I really had to I was so overwhelmed in general that I have not finished a single book yet, but I need to not be, because in order to achieve a long-term goal, it's essential that I split them up into daily goals. Okay. But for me with the book, it's all about illustration. And if I only have an hour time slot, that is not enough time for me to get into the flow creatively or to even finish a page of illustration. And I don't like the interruption. So I have to stop being hard on myself. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Just make sure that your goals, if you're writing, let's just say you're writing a book or a paper, right? Get knowledgeable about the topic, right? Make sure that you're underware. Improve you're aware of just what you need to do this. Have it available. Improve your writing skills. Just do all of that, okay? For me, if you're writing a book, 1,000 words a day, 500 words a day. I don't know, pick something, right? If you're writing about a certain topic, spend a couple hours a day reading that, or a half an hour reading studies or something about what you're doing. There always could be something. Just break it off in smaller milestones to prepare you for the bigger one, if that makes sense. So I do rough sketches of everything I want per page, so that when I get to it, it's just not a blank canvas in my head and I have a general idea of what I want the page to look like. So I just start going into it. You just have to work with it. Avoid procrastination. Procrastination is a killer of many people. Okay. 25% of adults consider it a personality trait. I'm not even kidding. If you're one of these people, procrastination can seriously get in the way of achieving your goals, okay? Because if you're postponing everything that you need to do until the last moment, number one, you're going to get low quality results. The more effort spent, right? Because you're all doing this at the last minute. So you're putting more effort towards it in a smaller amount of time. And most likely, what are you going to get at the end of it? Disappointment. You can avoid procrastination. Schedule your deep work. This is what I do. I schedule my work, because the deep work is the time that you devote to the most important time consuming work. And for me, that's recording a podcast. So I must do that, right? I normally will just jot down topics throughout the day or throughout the weeks. And then I'll look at that and then just start chit-chatting from there, or researching throughout the week, so that by the time I get to my research day, or my record day, I should say, all my research has already been done and I can just start talking, right? Take breaks frequently. Nobody can be productive for like 7 hours, 8 hours, right? That's why like productivity is so low at some corporate jobs, because you're sitting in a cubicle all day and you're not breaking it up. Because what do? We don't want to get up for a break because we're on a roll. We're just going to stay here. We're going to pound it out. And then, no, it's not productive at all. Nobody can be productive for that long. Okay. You got to let your mind wind down. You got to walk away from it. Okay. And then when you sit down to work, you're actually work again. Acknowledge your negative feelings. Okay. A lot of people have feelings of fear, anxiety, frustration. Those things all contribute to procrastination. And hone your organizational skills. The more organized you are, but don't get overly organized, like I just said earlier, the more effectively that you can get your tasks done and meet like your deadlines will highly depend on how organized you were. Like, don't just take like a year's worth of research. You didn't even put it out into any kind of outline and then think you're going to throw together a paper. It's not going to happen. Anticipate obstacles. The more you're able to identify possible obstacles to your goals, I guess, the easier it's going to be for you to tackle them and overcome them, right? Brainstorm all the obstacles, categorize, no control, influence, direct control, and then put them out. Sometimes you're going to have to get rid of them. If you have no control over something, why are you even bothering with it? Move it over, right? Remove obstacles that you have no control over. It's not worth it. Prioritize like direct control, because those you could do, right? You have everything under control, you do it and you get it done, right? Easiest to address. Boom. And develop an action plan to address each obstacle. So I would put like, for me, I do no control, the direct control, like everything I've got, and influence. Influence, I just kind of like, I try to figure out, like, if I have some influence, prioritize them based on the impact of the goal of the direct control goal. That makes sense. 9, seeking out inspiration. This really, really helps. When you want to achieve like a long-term goal, it's not common to get discouraged every now and then. You should really, really want to do this because you're seeking out inspiration. If you're not seeking out inspiration, how are you even having this as a long-term goal, right? You have all of these things that are going on. You want to make sure that your discouragement doesn't become a reason that you quit your goals. You have to seek out daily doses of inspiration, whether or not that's TED Talk, I don't know, podcasts, reading from other people, anything, even talking to people, maybe in the field, all of that. But you do need to think about what motivates you and find a source of inspiration that meets your needs. So just reiterating, you want to think about what motivates you, basically, and find a source of inspiration for you for that subject matter. Number 10, track your progress. Okay, this is really nice because it allows me to see the progress that I've made, obviously. And when you're tracking your progress systematically, you're going to be much more likely to achieve the goal, okay? When you are tracking the progress, you're able to evaluate how the plan is doing, how effectively you're addressing the obstacles, whether you need to readjust, to pivot, what you need to do, right? Time frame, whatever that happens. Tracking your progress is easy. So that is where SMART comes in, okay? Doing the SMART, the goal setting method that we talked about at the beginning of the podcast, because when you have that detailed action plan in place with using the SMART goal setting method, you have measurable, realistic goals, and you're setting up a system to track the progress much more easily than if your goal is just like, oh yeah, one day I'm just going to have a ton of money. A ton of money doing what? Doing how? What's your market? Who is going to use this? Is it a consumable? That kind of thing, right? So, number 11, manage your time effectively. So I struggle with this in opposite ways. As I had mentioned earlier, I over organize to before I start. But in all honesty, if you're going to achieve a goal, time can be your ally, but it can also be your enemy. It all depends on how you manage it, folks. Okay. If you are prone to mismanaging your time, or you waste time, or you're a procrastinator, or you're an over planner, right? An organizer, you're going to feel like there will never be enough time to achieve your goals. And you know, when you have strong management skills, right? On one hand, you're likely to even have time to spare at the end of each day. And that's what I've really started working on, because I also don't want to be in the business of being busy. And I've talked about that in the past on this podcast. It might have been last year. I'm not even sure, but it's the business of being busy if you want to listen to it. A lot of us use that as a distraction method, making ourselves basically your business is being busy so you can avoid having to do stuff. Okay. But time management is easier said than done. You have to do it in order to do it effectively, is what I should say. You have to have some sort of time management system in place. Okay. So there's like the quadrant system. So I sort of do this, but I kind of have like my own variation. The quadrant system is when you have like 4 boxes. Okay. And you use the 4 boxes as like basically the importance of the tasks that you need to do. Important, urgent, right? Important but not urgent, urgent but not important, or not urgent or not important, like just miscellaneous stuff, right? So it just helps give that. Or you can just kind of find a time management skill, YouTube it. There's tons of stuff. People have podcasts. Anything that will help you achieve your goal is not a waste of time. 12, hold yourself accountable. This is the last one, but it's certainly not the smallest one and almost the most important one. You have to be able to hold yourself accountable if you want to achieve your goals. And this means that you have to accept failure now and then. And that's hard. Facing setbacks, right? You just got to understand it happens. Same thing happened with my book. I do not have the time creatively to consistently in a row during the day to illustrate like I want to. And on the weekends, it's my family time. So I don't want to give that up. And I'm already, up all night doing other things that I didn't have time to do during the day. And I don't want to be in the business of being busy. So once Peter goes to school full time, I will have that day broken up. I'll have a day now to dedicate towards that. I've already planned for all this. I don't want to waste that time. I want to hold myself accountable by having it all in place now so that when the fall comes and he starts school, boom, I'm ready to go. So holding yourself accountable is an important mindset that you need to incorporate into your life. It will make everything that we talked about, all of the strategies today, it will make all of them tangible. Because in the long run, accountability is what sets action apart from mere dreams and talk. Right? We're not going to think about it. We're going to do it. All right. Until next week, lead with kindness. Bye.